Donald Trump's new big, beautiful bill just became law. At nearly 900 pages, it's poised to overhaul taxes, reshape federal spending, and refine social programs and steer national policy. I've spent the last week going through every section so you don't have to. And I'm going to give you the most crucial takeaways so you know exactly how it affects you. But first, I'm Robert Gilliland, founder of Concenture Wealth Management and a chartered retirement planning counselor with almost 30 years of guiding clients through major tax policies and changes just like this one. One thing that I kept top of mind is how does it affect you? And I think the biggest thing that you can take away is that the original Trump tax cuts have been extended. Now, they're not extended indefinitely. They're only extended to 2030. The key is that we know exactly what tax brackets are going to be from now until 2030. The next change is capital gains. We actually went from 2 to 3 potential capital gains brackets. Depending on your income level, you could end up in that high tax bracket. When I say income level, that's all sources of income. So think about this. You're 65 years old, you decide to do a Roth conversion, you convert $375,000, but you take, when you factor in all of your different income sources and you add that in there, you now have another $200,000 worth of income. You're going to be in that top capital gains tax bracket. What you have to do is be mindful of where your income is and what is taxable so that you can manage your tax situation as you go forward. One huge thing that is going to affect people, and even if you were not of the ages we're going to talk about, are the changes to RMDs. The age to have to start taking required minimum distribution is 75. That's only for people who have not yet started taking their required minimum distributions. This is huge. Basically, it allows for you to keep those assets working and growing tax deferred. It opens up that opportunity to consider doing Roth conversions. It gives you the ability for a longer period of time to be able to effectively manage your tax bracket. Because what we find is a lot of people, when they hit 75, they may be forced to take more money out of their retirement accounts, bumping them up in a tax bracket. Now, if you're younger than 73 today, you can start planning a lot more effectively with a lot more clarity. The big thing that's going to affect everyone, especially here in Houston, but definitely in high tax states, the changes to the state and local tax SALT. It went from $10,000 deduction up to $30,000 of deduction. Now, the one thing that you have to keep in mind is if you have more than $200,000 of itemized deductions, you could end up hurting yourself. What I mean by that is if you decide to do a donor advised fund or decide to make a large contribution for whatever reason, and it's a significant dollar amount, and you have itemized deductions over $200,000, you may lose this. But this is a big gain when you go to think about things like people in Houston when it comes to property taxes, state and local income taxes. If you're in another state that you have state income taxes, this is a big savings for you going from $10,000 to $30,000. And the last big point that I think really goes through to affect people. Prior to this bill passing, we knew that Roth conversions without regard to income were going to be impacted, where you would not be able to do them as efficiently or as much starting on January 1st of 2026. That's now extended at least until 2030. What that means is that gives you more time to go through and evaluate whether or not doing a Roth conversion makes sense. It also gives you a lot more flexibility into the amount that you're able to do that Roth conversion. What we found is that people who are over 59 and a half, it makes a tremendous amount of sense to consider a Roth conversion. Last year, we were saying, hey, we only have 2 years to do it. Now we have all the way till 2030, which means we can more effectively manage your tax bracket. It's vitally important to go through and evaluate whether or not doing some form of a Roth conversion makes sense for you and for your family. Every time there's major legislation, depending on which news channel you're watching, It may be this is the best thing for the American economic policy and the best thing for this country, or this is the worst. This is absolutely a disaster. We are done. There ends up being minor tweaks and changes. At the end of the day, there are opportunities. There are opportunities in this bill. There are opportunities for you to save on taxes, for you to more efficiently manage your money and continue to live the life that you want. All you simply have to do is give us a call. We would love that opportunity to walk through all these with you in your situation.